Stutter, my brother, what's happening?
Hey, fantasy, it's session. We talking touchdowns, receptions, interceptions. They got a band and kicker, we need that correction. Swap them out, we flexing. How many of y'all you collect? We trying to get that winning record. Fantasy, it's session. Fantasy, it's session. Fantasy, it's session. Fantasy, it's session. Fantasy, it's session.
Yeah.
What up, though? And we back.
Round two,
What it is, hopefully is what it should be. Welcome to another episode of Fantasy in Session, the podcast. Today is September the 10th, and the boys is back in town, presented by the Real Deal Fantasy HQ. As always, wherever it is that you're listening to this at, make sure you subscribe, comment, like, leave a review, tell a friend, and tell a friend where you been. Hey, what's going on, fellas? Part two. Here he is.
Bruh, that was the greatest game ever, bro. God, I miss football so freaking much. That was I couldn't ask for anything more, bro. That was great, bro.
That was the epitome of I miss football.
Yes, bro. They picked the perfect game to start us off on this 2021 year, bro. Everybody pretty much had a good game except for a couple, Evans and Zeke. And then Rojo, but everybody, I feel like if you play Rojo, I mean, you had to expect that. It's no way, that had to be in the back of your mind if you started him, bro.
I told y'all not to start them, boys. But I feel like Dak came out there and had a great game. That's what I was most impressed by. Dak and CD Lamb. CD Lamb is gonna be a monster. That's
yes, bro. And they threw the ball a lot, bro. It's like the exact.
It was like 50 times right
last year, bro. Yes, bro, and that's how they started off last year, and I'm so glad that they are not hesitant to do the same shit this year. Dak in his first game back, and he do that much, bro. Like, I'm loving it, man. But it's a couple storylines.
I was about to say, so are you scared of Zeke? That's the big topic out there right now. Zeke and Tony Pollard actually getting a lot of play. You mentioned that in our group chat yesterday. So are you? How do you feel about Zeke going forward?
I mean, it's 17 weeks, so it's gonna be, workload gonna be a little different this year, but man, if the defense can't stop nobody, I'm a little worried because they're gonna have to be in that little game plan to score, and with that game plan, didn't look like it involved Zeke a lot. I can't deny him. Get that boy CD the ball, bro. Real tough.
Yeah, he's a monster, bro.
Get him the ball.
But yeah, as far as Zeke, man, like I feel like everybody was pretty much tempering expectations coming into that game. Tampa Bay was a great rush defense last year, so I feel like it was a little bit of that. But to me, I guess we'll see going forward. But to me, it did look like he might have lost a step, bro. Like it was just certain plays where it just seemed like he didn't have that quickness that he usually have. And Zeke's never been a quick guy like that. Like he's never been known for his speed and quickness and shit like that. But it just seemed like he kind of lost his step a little bit, bro. I'll
shoot Zeke some bail. I don't think he lost a step, man. I think he made a lot of great pass blocks last night. I feel like that was the game plan, and that's what he was put out there to do. He did his job, man. I seen when he did on. I know the play you talking about down toward the goal line, but he did move a couple pounds last night too. So I don't think I'll
that play. See. And then it was another play where he tried to hit the corner, bro, and it just looked like he was running slower than I'm usually used to seeing Zeke run.
The first quarter looked like that, but like he made a couple runs in the fourth quarter or so when they ran to the what was that? That would be the left side for them. He looked decent on that run.
Yeah, and he hit the edge.
Like Zeke has always been a guy with volume. He ain't never been like that, one of the players that you can get a ball to 12 times, going to break a big play. He's always been like that volume type guy. So I just feel like down the line, when they're in game scripts where they don't have to just keep scoring, they went against one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses in the league. So that's why I say I got to see a couple more games because they could just win in that game like, bro, we got to score and we got to do it quick.
I saw a tweet by Nathan Jank from PFF that he was pretty much saying that like because somebody said like he got game scripted out or something like that, and he was like, I mean, if you draft a guy at 105, he shouldn't have a fear of being game scripted out, bro. So it's just something to monitor.
Yeah, I wasn't drafting him 105.
I mean, he was in the first round though, and I just feel like in the first round, like it's not too many. You shouldn't be getting game scripted out as a first round pick. So, like I said, I'm not overreacting. I'm not going out here and selling him low. I mean, I will even make some offers for him, but it is something to monitor. Keep your eye on, bro.
Before we go any further, man, let's give a moment of silence. Special shout out to all the black fallen queens and queens out there. All right, now and we back. I have almost forgot that. But hey, but one more thing before we move on. I was about to say one more thing about the Dallas. Michael Gallup. I don't know if y'all caught that news, but Michael Gallup is out for the next 3 to 5 weeks. I want to say.
Easy.
So even more
and he was getting a lot of targets last week.
That was short range though. That was it, you know. But yeah, PPR. That means a lot.
How do y'all feel about the receiving core for Tampa Bay? You know, Godwin and AB both had great games, and Mike Evans not so much, bro. So worried about Evans. Kind of expected like the Zeke situation.
I just feel like last year he was mainly TD dependent. He was getting 67 yards, and then he was getting a touchdown or two almost every game. He was getting a touchdown. So pretty much we knew coming into this year he was going to be TD dependent. Godwin is good. He got like 14 targets. So Godwin is the guy right there for sure. And it's going to be between Gronk and AB and the rest to fight it out, kind of.
I don't think I'm like as off of Mike Evans as everybody else. I think I mentioned it last, whatever the episode was, that he had the hardest matchup. You know, Trayvon Diggs was expected to make the big leap in his second year, and they had we already knew that the slot matchup. I can't remember the guy's name right now, but he was like the most targeted slot corner in the league, and so I already knew that they was gonna go after him. So it wasn't a surprise. I'm just saying I feel like everybody should cool down, and I also think that AB is back.
Yeah, he looked super great, man. His route running, bro. It really Bruce Arians wasn't lying, bro. He does look like a little nuts to JB out there, bro. But I think like in terms of like matchups and stuff going forward, like it's part of the equation. That's how I look at it. Like a matchup is part of the equation. But for a situation like Tampa Bay, I think you might need to make that a little bit more part of the equation with them, because I just don't see Tom Brady forcing it to anybody who has a rough matchup out there. Like he's going to throw to the open guy out there, and he has a lot of options. So that's just something to look for going forward. Look at that matchup, man, and kind of decide from there which one you want to play.
And running back, it looked like you can start Fournette for the next 2 weeks.
And I don't even know that. We were talking about that in the group chat.
I'm not buying it.
Rojo fumbled, and then he comes out and starts next week. Leonard Fournette actually started this game, I believe. Like he got the first snap, didn't he? So he got more snaps before the fumble happened anyway. So I mean, I don't know. I always, like I said on the last episode, I'm off that backfield like Buffalo.
Yep.
But let's get into some of the news and notes since the last time we potted. Of course, the Latavius Murray news and the Devonta Freeman news, if you want to call that news. It's just the old running back committee over there, and Tyson Williams, who I believe is the running back to have. Do y'all feel any differently? Like that? We'll touch on that
this week.
I guess we can touch on that when we get to the game. We reviewed the Ravens this week, so we could talk about that when we get to the game. Or you want to talk about it now?
No, we good.
All right. Talk about it later.
Yeah.
Curtis Samuel is out this week. Officially, Austin Eckler did practice on today, which is Friday when we recorded it. So whenever you listen to it, he did practice. But Carlos was mentioning that he is a little bit off of the Eckler. I think if he's on the field, he's good to go. So I'm not gonna. It's not like we said, man. Don't make it weird week one.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like I hope that they do the right thing and just go ahead and let him rest for 1 week, bro. Because if he starts, you have to play him. But this is a guy who missed a lot of the year with that horrible hamstring injury last year, and now it's bothering him again leading up to week one. So I was watching a video that Dr. Child posted on he's like the pro football doc on Twitter, and he was pretty much saying that like if he plays, you should definitely not count him for being 100% because like you have a guy that's close to being ready for week 2, like 100% for week 2. Like, why would they risk that in week 1 where they can make it worse for the rest of the year instead of just, kind of like laying back this week and letting it like get to 100%. So I'm definitely I ranked him very low, bro, because I just want to let people know that's looking at my rankings that I am worried about that matchup. So
are you making game time decisions with him though? Like actually thinking about pivoting off Austin Eckler if he's on one of your teams personally?
If he's playing, bro, I have to play him.
He got himself high. You gotta play.
That's why I like.
Must start.
I hope, like Curtis Samuel, for example, like people wasn't sure if he was going to play or not this week. So they made that designation early in the week. So now you have enough time to plan for it. So I just hate that. I'd rather not be without my stud or be without my stud and have another plan ready than it being like game day and they say he's gonna play, but he's gonna be on a snap count. It's like, bro, that's way more miserable than the other one.
So let's get to some news that people are not listed on the injury report. We got Kenny Galladay not listed on the final injury report. I know we made a couple jokes about him last episode, but so that's good news to hear. Trey Lance is officially not on the final injury report, even though I don't think really nothing comes from that.
Maybe like a little couple packages, which would suck for anybody starting Jimmy G, but remember they was pretty much rotating them in that last preseason game they played together.
This is that would be so gross if they do that.
I know.
Saquon Barkley officially listed as questionable, but he's expected to play. Evan Ingram is officially out with a calf injury. Noah Fant will.
Who you starting in your league that you had Evan Ingram?
I picked up Jordan Akins if you didn't see it.
Oh, my bad.
I'm sorry.
I was surprised you left him out there because I was like, damn, Carlos said he went and got him.
Bro, I mean, come on, bro. I have like
I know, but I thought you would have just like been an asshole. I thought you would have just been an asshole and blocked me out.
Nah. I'm gonna just let you suffer through your pain and then come and get Kyle Pitts whenever you're ready.
Speaking of tight ends, bro, tight ends in that session takeover is like crazy.
Yeah,
I'll tell you how many points Gronk scored later. But Cortland Sutton is good to go. We already mentioned the Michael Gallup news. Carson Wentz will officially start Sunday. This is some weird news. I didn't even hear nothing about this. Apparently, Stefanski.
Stefanski? The coach for Cleveland Browns?
Yeah.
Stefanowski. Y'all seen Big Daddy with Adam Sandler?
Pause.
Y'all seen that?
Nah.
Bro, it's the name of a movie, bro. Okay, well, you're not going to get the joke in, so just carry on. Jesus, man.
But apparently, he hinted at OBJ having a little bit of a knee injury and could be a game time decision. I don't know if y'all heard that. So that's pretty gross. So be on the lookout for that. We'll try to keep y'all up to date on the latest injury news. Le'Veon Bell is apparently still getting his legs under him, whatever that means.
His legs are done.
Jamison Crowder is out with the COVID, so he won't be playing. I think that's all the news I got. I mentioned Devontae Freeman getting signed. Naheem Hines signed a new contract extension.
Big money, where? Big money stat. Hey, someone.
Facts, though.
Y'all got anything else?
No, you signed.
Nope, let's do
it. Let's get into it.
All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. First of all, I want to say how many points Gronk scored. So, like, 43 points. That's crazy.
That is wild.
And, like, he's ranked as, like, awesome. Imagine what Travis Kelce might score 100 points.
100, yeah.
I have him.
It feels good when you're in the same league and you don't see that player that's going off. It's like, whoo, glad I'm not playing against him.
Exactly.
But I did see a lot of Mark Cooper, though. But that's neither here nor there. We'll get to it. So let's get into it. What was the last game we got to? I can't remember.
The Seattle and Colts.
So this game we are on is
should be Minnesota versus Cincy.
Yeah, I think so. Minnesota versus Cincy. What is Cincy?
Yeah,
3-point favorite the Vikings are with an over/under of 47. I checked it today, so I don't know if you got anything to do with Carlos.
Yeah, I do, but I'd rather go with the updated one. So
Kirk Cousins finished 11th last year, 516 attempts, about 4,200 yards and 35 touchdowns. Yeah, you know how Kirk Cousins always starts off slow and then he usually picks it up. But now he with Justin Jefferson out there, do you still believe he'll start the year off slow? How do you feel about Kirk Cousins coming in this week?
Well, this week he's playing against the Bengals, who have a poor defense and are without William Jackson, their starting corner. So he's a great streaming option in one quarterback leagues and 2 quarterbacks league. Feel safe finding him up there. Beware the Vikings are run heavy though, so Cousins' ceiling is capped if you don't get touchdowns. And unless the game turns into a shootout in one QB leagues, you can find a better matchup. But if you waited late and got a Tua who is facing New England defense, your boy Robert Cousins would be a better matchup. Cook goes against a defense that allowed 5 yards per carry. He's a stud, so you're starting him. Wide receivers, you're starting JJ off rip, especially with William Jackson, injured and out. JJ is going to eat. Thielen is going to be always a start this year now. He should be the red zone guy since Irv Smith is out. So he's going to score a lot of touchdowns again. I can see 10 touchdowns this year for Thielen now with Irv Smith out. He's Cousins' favorite target in the red zone to back that up. So I got JJ finishing as around the wide receiver 1 and Thielen in the wide receiver 2, back in 3 range if he doesn't get a touchdown. And that's what I got on that side of the ball. Y'all got anything else?
Who is Williams? You said Williams is hurt. Who is Williams?
I said the cornerback William Jackson is out for the Bengals, so their top corner is out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said there. Start the receivers, start the running back, quarterback.
Don't make it weird.
Option. Yep.
All right, going to the other side, we got my boy Joe Burrow back from his major injury last year. They upgraded O-line. It's his first game back, and he's going to get a decent defense. Wherever you drafted him, you got to start him. But in one quarterback leagues, if you can pivot somewhere, I would just sit him for a better matchup, just see how the O-line do against this D-line moving forward, and just like to see him bounce back from injury. But Joe Mixon right here, he's a must start. He averaged 22 catches before the injury last year. No Gio Bernard there to take away his receptions out the backfield.
22 catches? That's how much he averaged?
I said 22 touches before the injury. And
you said touches? Damn.
You said catches.
Sorry.
You said catches. But we'll let it ride.
See, I want to know.
No. Listen, I said he averaged 22 touches, and Gio Bernard is gone. So now nobody's there to steal his receptions out the backfield. So Mixon is going to lead the team in touches in a team that's going to have to score a lot because of their defense is not well. I love Mixon all this year. And this defense, Minnesota defense, allowed 5 yards per carry, 2 running backs. So he's a must start. Lock, feel safe with Mixon. Love him this week. Next up, Chase struggled in camp and could start slow. So when you draft him in redraft, you can feel safe just kind of sitting him until we see how he's going to be used this game. But he's the third passing option on the team, and they could play a big conservative just to get Joe Burrow back into, action. But start T. Higgs, he's a wide receiver 2, 3, and he should get most of the target share throughout the year for sure. Boyd is more of a 3-4 and is better suited in your flex. I feel more comfortable with him in your flex. He would get the short work to the mid-range, playing the slot for the Bengals, and which allows him up well with Burrow, who should be under pressure and have to get the ball out. So I like Boyd and Higgins for sure. I don't know about Chase. How y'all feel about Chase? And the Bengals don't even have a tight end on the team.
Yeah, I got Chase's way to see. I moved Chase way down in my rankings today, actually.
Yeah, I would definitely want to wait and see for Chase because apparently this guy can't. Did you coming to him.
Was that a real thing?
He was dead. He was dead. He was dead the fuck serious, bro. Why would you say that publicly, bro? Did somebody leak that combo, bro? Come on.
There's no way that. Did you hear what he said, Javon?
Nah, what'd he say?
He said the ball is different from the NFL, like the NCAA to the NFL, like
bigger, I
the
think?
the way it's bigger, pause, and the way the line is lined up on the side, like it's hard to see him, and so like he just got to get. He said he gotta adjust to catching the NFL ball. It's crazy,
man.
Well,
that sounds like an excuse to me, boy. That sounds like an excuse, bro. I ain't trying to hear that shit, boy.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. You had a whole year where you didn't play college football. They should have been throwing you regular NFL football. Why would they still be throwing you college footballs if you weren't in college, no boy? It's dumb as
facts, bro.
But yeah, I'm not starting them.
I just got a couple questions. Would you start Cousins or Burrow on the other side?
That's hard.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. I like let me see what my rankings say. I think I like off top of my head, I think I would go Cousins. Yeah, I got Cousins 15, Burrow 16. I mean Burrow 18.
We have Cousins one spot ahead of Burrow. I personally would start Burrow just because I feel like they're gonna throw it more.
Yeah.
You know, last year he threw the second most pass attempts in the 11 games before the injury. So I mean, it's splitting hair, but I'm just going with the guy I think is going to have to throw more.
Yeah, I'm about to be safe.
It's close, though. It's close.
I feel safe with Cousins getting like that, at least 15, 16 points. So if I feel like I just need them 15, 16 points, I'm going to go with Cousins. But if I need a higher roof, you got to go with Burrow.
I'm just scared of what that Bengals offense is going to actually look like.
They're going to have to throw. We know that much.
It's true. That's it?
Yep.
All right, on to the next game. We got the 49ers at 7.5 point favorite against the Lions with an over under 45 points. We got Jimmy G starting, gross, but he spent most of his year last year hurt. He did put up a 19-point performance in week 1 last year and a week 6 23-point performance. The Lions allowed the third most passing yards per game last year in the NFL and allowed the most fantasy points to the quarterback position with 27, averaging 27 points a game. So I got Jimmy G as a streamable option just because I think the offense is a good offense. I just think Jimmy G is not Trey Lance. So that's the only slight I really have against Jimmy G. So
great matchup though. So
yeah, you got to play the matchup sometimes. So if you did stream your quarterbacks, I think that's a good matchup play. The running backs, I know everybody's hot on Trey Sermon right now. I see a lot of him. They got him top 30. He could get top 30 volume, but I'm not depending on it. I think Raheem Mostert for sure is going to get the volume work. They showed it. He did play hobbled last year, but he is back fully healthy. The Lions gave up 25 points a game to the running back position last year. In the preseason's finale, Mostert had 7 touches for 53 yards, and he averaged 7 yards per carry. So I'm pretty certain to say that he's back in Mostert form. Brandon Ayuk, I think he got him as a start. I got Debo as a start. He go against one of the easiest matchup, Jeffrey Okudah. He is coming into his second year, but he just didn't look good in his first year. So I don't think he's gonna make the jump like I did Trayvon Diggs. He gave up a 76% catch rate last year. PFF graded him as a 42. He gave up the most yards per route cover in the NFL also. So I definitely got both of them guys as a start. Of course, you're gonna start George Kittle. On the other side of the ball, Jared Goff, man, a new team with no wide receivers. That's pretty gross. The 49ers also gave up 20 points a game to the quarterback last year with 252 yards in the air, but they have a lot of their healthy pieces back. So I got Jared Goff as a sit. Deandre Swift, I got him as a play this week. They say he's going to get the full running load out there. So I got tempered expectations. I don't think it'll be a big week. I think I got him around like 14, 15, just outside of that running back one conversation. But he will be startable. Terrell Williams, I got him as a sit just because his matchup against Jason Verrett is pretty hard. And we just don't know what that Lions offense is going to look like. Every time I've seen the Lions offense during the preseason, it looked pretty gross. I know a lot of people talking about Quez Cephas. I got him also as a wait and see. The only person I really feel comfortable starting on that side of the ball is TJ Hawkinson. But I think he's an auto start pretty much.
Everything I said. If I can afford it, I think I would sit. I mean, if you can afford it, I would try to sit Swift in the game, just because they're heavy underdogs and the fact that San Francisco gave up the 7th fewest points to the running backs. So Only if you can afford it, though. But I think he'll be safe as a flex because he should get at least the volume to.
One stat
be
about
okay.
One stat about him that I didn't mention, that anytime he did get 13 or more carries, he did score at least 14 fantasy points. So I feel like he'll at least get 13 carries now that we know he's a full-time starter, and we know how he battled all last year, like going back and forth between being the starter and not the starter. So
Swift or Debo asking for a friend.
Or like flex. I'm always gonna go running back over a flex in the flex.
Yeah,
just because the guaranteed volume.
And I feel like this is a game where, you know, they can get up real quick, and if Debo ain't do nothing by halftime, it might be over with for the passing game.
Yep.
I know
everything else I agree with. Oh, go ahead.
I'm saying that's why I was just gonna mention something about the flex position. I know unless you're like a stud wide receiver, like a running back that's getting starting carries, he's going to at least see the ball 20 times, and like you're not going to get many wide receivers that's going to get that much volume of production or chances to produce at that much. So I'm always going to go running back, unless the matchup just says that I can't. But for the most part,
feel you. Yeah, I agree with everything else you said. I think I would be a little bit more confident in Sermon. I know you say he's a star, but I feel like you could start him with confidence also, just because the matchup is so great. They're 7.5 or what was it, 7.5 point phase?
Yeah, 7.5 points.
So they're both in a smash spot, and we know they always have a committee back there. So I think they'll both get enough volume.
On to the next game, we got the Browns at the Kansas City Chiefs, 5.5 point favorites, over under 54.5. Hey, Javar, did you notice this? I noticed this while going through my notes, and I made sure I wrote this down in my notes to say before Carlos got to talking. Carlos got all the good games. Did you notice that?
Bro, I just did every third game, starting with the second one, bro.
I said,
if y'all start y'all process earlier, y'all can get first pick, bro. I mean, shit.
Oh, right? Man, Carlos got the Chiefs game. I want to talk about the Chiefs.
I want to talk about my home.
Well, you had the Philly and Atlanta game. That's gonna be a good one too.
Yeah, that was cool. But the question is, I don't know if y'all saw this, but I posted a stat. It was more so about Sammy Watkins. So I will say this about Sammy Watkins later, but no wide receiver not named Tyreek Hill has had over 70 targets since Patrick Mahomes has been the starter quarterback. It only happened one time, and that his name was Sammy Watkins, and that's because Tyreek Hill was suspended half that year, I believe. But that's the question. I feel like you already know who you're going to start on the Chiefs. So what about the wide receivers? That's the question. What you going to do at wide receiver?
You talking about for the Chiefs?
Yeah. Do you believe in Mecole Hardman?
Not this week. Again, week one. We definitely don't want to, do nothing crazy like that unless you're in like a super deep league, or maybe you had like an Evans Thursday night going against Amari Cooper, so you need like a ceiling play. Maybe you go for that. But normal games, normal matchups, I'm gonna hold off on starting Mecole right now.
Can you explain what it means by chasing points before?
Yeah, so basically, like if you go into after the Thursday night game, if you're in a if you're projected to lose, by a lot, like your percent chance of your odds of winning the game goes down. Like for example, if you had an Evans versus Cooper, I like to maybe if I am on a fringe about two guys I'm thinking about starting, like I like to go with the guy that has that's going to be in the game with a higher over under, that's part of a higher powered offense, that has that high ADOT, that has just like a higher ceiling. On the flip side, if I had like a Jarvis Landry, if I had Amari Cooper, then I also had Jarvis Landry and Mecole Hardman, then I would probably start somebody like Jarvis Landry who's going to have a high floor as opposed to Mecole Hardman, who can get you like 30 or 0 easily. So
exactly,
that's how I like to approach it. But as far as the other guys, so yeah, you're starting. I think it's pretty clear. It's you start Mahomes, start Clyde Edwards-Helaire, start Hill and Kelsey. On Cleveland, that's where it gets a little tricky. Baker, he ended the season last year on fire, averaging 21 points during the last 6 weeks. So I think he should continue that with the Browns as 6.5 point underdogs and a high expected point total. I think it's 52. Did you say?
54.5.
Yeah, so that they're going to need to score points to keep up with the Chiefs, and they, he even looked good when they played them in the playoffs last year. So with the year of finally having like an offensive coordinator and a coach of that continuity.
Continuity.
That word up. Continuity. Woo. But yeah,
Ooh,
so he has
right.
that. Yeah. So I think he's a solid QB2 in super flex formats, and depending on your options, he could be like a streaming option this week. Chubb, of course, you're starting. Hunt, I believe he's a solid RB2 this week. Kansas City allowed the 14th most points to the running back position. And then even if they fall behind, Cleveland was still 5th in rush percentage during games where they trailed by at least 6 points last year. So I think he still sees his usual 13 to 15 touches and has a chance to get into the end zone. As far as receivers, I'm starting to OBJ. I think he'll need to do most of his damage versus Mike Hughes. He's ranked at graded out as a 55 according to PFF last year. Allowed a 75% catch rate and also gave up 1.3 yards per route cover last year. So, of course, and again, this is going to be a high-scoring game. So hopefully we can get some splash plays from OBJ. As far as Landry goes, I think he's more of a fringe starter. Like if you just need like some stability, I think he's going to get he'll have a high floor. So he was targeted on 24% of his routes last year. So, like I said, the volume should be there for him to give you a decent game. Just don't expect any like ceiling type of games from him. And I think Hooper also gets elevated as a solid start in this high-scoring affair. They gave up the 9th most points to the tight end position last year. And he will see Hitchens, who was graded out as a 51 and allowed a 78% catch rate. So I think he's a nice streaming option this week.
Two things. If OBJ doesn't start, who do you feel like is just Jarvis Landry and Hooper, or do you think
Johnny Peoples-Jones has been making a name for herself this offseason during preseason? So if they name him the opposite starter on the other side, I might. It's a wait and see just to see what he's gonna do. But Baker loves to find that guy when he's on the field, so I wouldn't mind him in the flex if you need
it. More of a DFS play for me. I couldn't see myself starting him.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable at all.
Daryl Williams, the backup running back for Kansas City.
Nah, not unless I'm just struggling at running back. Say you drafted like Gus Edwards and.
Do you think he eats into CEH's usage?
Maybe like goal line touches, but I don't think he really eats into.
You said like goal line touches. Like goal line touches is not a big thing.
But I don't think he just automatically takes over. I think he might get a couple goal line touches.
He's not on the map.
All of them.
Yeah, he's not on the map, Gay.
He's a hacker. Got anything else?
Mm-mm.
I think that.
On to the next game, we got Miami at the Patriots. Patriots a 3-point favorite with a 43.5 point over under. The year of the Mac is started, man. Mac attack. He's officially the Patriot starter. How you feel about the Patriots?
Going in the first game, it's Mac rookie. I don't feel comfortable with him. They drafted him so late that it should be easy to sit him. I mean, like whoever got him on your squad, he was so late that you should be able to sit him. The Dolphins allowed 8 yards per pass attempt last year, but it's still a tough start for him because this team should be run heavy to start the season just to help Mac acclimate himself to the league. So that's where I'm at with Mac. Moving on to Dammit Harris, he's the only running back there as Stevenson hurt his thumb, but he's still able to go. That's crazy. So Harris should get a lot of the carries. Not worried about anybody stealing his goal line carries. Newton is out of town, so Harris is going to get the red zone carries. The defense, the Dolphins have allowed around 4 yards per carry last year. Harris is a defense running back to play in this heavy run offense. Even better if you got him in your flex. Wait to see how much Mac Jones check downs to running backs before I'm comfy with starting somebody like James White. Moving on to wide receivers, the Dolphins have allowed 9 yards per target to wide receiver last year. The safe play is Jacoby Myers, who has shown strong separation skills and should command a decent target share. I like him in your flex, but he could also be in as your wide receiver 3 if you're having problems or somebody got injured. I can't trust Aguilar right now. He's a risky play. And Kendrick Bourne, he shouldn't be on your radar. Next up is Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are both been going to get targets at the tight end. We just don't know the breakdown and how that would be utilized. Smith has the big play potential, but Hunter is coming back from a shoulder injury, so I feel like Jonnu may get peppered with more targets and get more burn. This is a hard sit because they are the focal point of the team. So, but I would sit both of them if you can for the first week. Hunter has been battling injury, and Jonnu should get a little advantage. So that's the only one I feel comfortable starting at the 2 tight ends right now.
I'm starting Jonnu.
Yeah, I missed it. I said, yeah, start Jonnu. I meant to say start Jonnu and sit Hunter Henry because of the shoulder injury.
Yeah, I like it. Gesicki or Jonnu?
Jonnu.
I'm going with Gesicki.
I think I would go Jonnu as well.
But I do like Damon Harris. I think I like Damon Harris a lot this week. Actually.
Yep, matchup isn't the best, but like you said, Stevenson is banged up, so I think he should get more work. And then he's going to get the goal line work along with the majority of the work between the tackles. So just not going to get no receiving work, but I still think he's a nice flex option.
Yeah.
All right, moving along to the other side of the ball. My boy Tua, you know what I'm saying? Roll Tide in the building. He is a breakout sleeper candidate for most of the offseason, but it's best to wait and see one game and see how it goes. The Patriots get back Dante Hightower and Calvin Nor, excuse me, and they also added Matt Judon this offseason to that stack front seven. The Patriots will be run heavy, limiting Tua passing opportunities, and the Patriots defense allowed 9 passing TDs and averaged the second fewest fantasy points to quarterbacks at home last year. So Tua is a sit for me this first game. Moving on to Myles Gaskins. He's said to be the workhorse right now. They still have Michael Brown back there who should get touches, but not enough to hurt Gaskins' value. The Patriots defense has allowed around 4 yards per carry last year, but that's without the 3 big names I mentioned earlier. Gaskins should have enough workload in the rushing and receiving department to be wearing a running back 2 start. But I love him as a flex play. Moving on to wide receivers, the Patriots have allowed 150 receiving yards per game last year to wide receivers, and the 8th fewest fantasy points to wide receivers as a whole. It's a tough matchup, and there's still some uncertainty around the offense. I would sit both guys if I could, but I'm not against starting them in your flex. I got Parker, who has upside as a wide receiver 3, maybe 2, if he 3 range because he's going to get volume. Waddle is more so a 4 with upside because he has that big play ability. Gesicki is in the market. I like him. He was showing some connection with Tua during the preseason. He's been playing basically the slot guy since Fuller has been out and should see a lot of targets. So I like him as a front end, tight end 2, back end 1.
Just a report came across Austin Eckler expected to play in week 1.
Let's get it.
So, decisions.
There's no decision. Play Austin Eckler if he's on the field.
I know. I'm scared though. I ain't gonna lie. Gaskin, what'd you say about him? You said that you would sit him if possible.
No. I said he's wearing a starter in your running back 2 slot because he's going to be involved in the running and passing game. But I love him as a flex.
Gotcha. Yeah, I like it, man.
I
I think I'm sitting all the receivers from Miami though. They got their defense back, bro. Weren't they missing a lot of their cornerbacks?
Stephon Gilmore is out
He's
though.
still out, but it's just
He's still out.
It just who they added to Matt Judon, bro. In the preseason,
Defense is still the defense. They still them.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting all the receivers, and then Will Fuller is not playing. So yeah, I'm not comfortable starting any of those guys.
That's why I like Gesicki. He should get a lot of targets, mainly playing that slot guy.
Or they could just get their ass beat. Like the Patriots could just come out there and beat
very,
their
very
ass.
high possibility, I feel like. Sorry, Troy.
The
Dolphins fan?
Yeah, you gotta clip that. The Broncos are 3-point favorites against the Giants. Look at the games I get: 41 point over, 41.5 point over under. Danny Dimes, He finished 24th last year, playing 14 games, throwing 448 times, a little under 3,000 yards, and only 11 touchdowns. He did show some rushing upside. Fun fact: he was the 6th highest rushing quarterback last year, with a little bit over 400 yards rushing. The Broncos did give up 237 passing yards through the air last year and allowed 20 points to the quarterback a game and 20 rushing yards to the quarterback per game. But they did add a lot of big pieces in that secondary, so it's a brand new defense pretty much right now. So I don't really think you can use a lot of last year's stats. I'm sitting Danny Dimes regardless. We don't even got to keep going about that. Saquon Barkley has been listed as the starter, but I feel like you should temper your expectations. I don't know if he'll have like that big Saquon Barkley day in his first week, but I'm never betting against the God, and I got him in too many places for me to say that. So I hope he come out there and come get. That would be crazy. First play touchdown. Saquon Barkley touched the ball,
and it's
that would be some epic shit right there. I can't even flex.
Kenny G, who's been now listed as off the injury report, he will be playing Sunday. The last time we did see him, he was producing, averaging 7 targets a game, putting up double-digit points through 4 weeks. Kyle Fuller is projected to be in coverage on him most of the day. PFF graded him a 64 last year. He only gave up a 55% catch rate on 600 targets. That's pretty awesome. So he coming from the Washington the Washington football team. So it's not last year, like I was saying, they have new people. So I think if you're going to start Kenny G, I was already thinking about not starting him just because I don't think he's all the way fully healthy. But so just temper your expectations on him. Sterling Shepard, this won't be the matchup to start him going against Bryce Callahan. So I would sit him. Darius Slayton, who led the team in targets last year with 94, played all 16 games, 751 yards, and 3 touchdowns, would be expected to be covered by. They have a stacked secondary, bro. Like all 3 of them are like beasts. Ronald Darby, who gave up a 55% catch rate. I think nobody gave up over a 60% catch rate or nothing, 60% or below. Something crazy like that. I got everybody else that sits. Evan Ingram is out. I don't think you want to start the tight end behind him either. On the other side of the ball, we got Teddy Two Gloves starting. Last year, he finished quarterback 19. He was the 3rd in adjusted completion percentages, with 80% of his passes being completed last year. The Giants did give up 237 yards through the air and only 18 fantasy points per game. That's the 5th fewest in the NFL. So I got sit Teddy Bridgewater this week, especially in 1 QB leagues. And 2 QB leagues, I think you could start him if you just have to. Would you start Teddy Bridgewater or Carson Wentz?
Teddy Bridgewater.
Pick him. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. He got better weapons. I go with Teddy. You're right. He got better.
Because I feel like he won't hurt you. I feel like it's still a possibility. Carson Wentz, we talked about it last episode, but we don't know how he's going to look out there. So,
to the running backs, we got Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. The Giants were the 10th in the NFL with fewest rushing yards allowed to the running backs, only 111 per game. They did give up a lot of receptions out of the backfield, though, 2nd in the NFL with at least 5 receptions a game to running back position. So I think Melvin Gordon has a little bit of a flex potential. I got him in the 20s somewhere. I'm not looking at my rankings right now. Oh, I wrote it down here. I have him 27th. So I think he's going to get the starter volume for sure. And with them not the Giants being a stingy run defense, I just think it'll be a game for him to get a lot of dump off passes. Javonte Williams is a wait and see for me. I just don't know, especially with that low over under, like how much volume he'll actually get. Because I do think Melvin Gordon is going to surprise a lot of people with the amount of touches that he gets.
Yeah, definitely that first week. I think I'm okay starting Javonte if you need to, but I am more comfortable with Melvin.
I don't mind either of them in the flex. If you got Melvin Gordon or Javonte Williams in your flex, I think they're going to put up some flex numbers. I mean, their floors is flex numbers. That's what I mean.
I think Javonte Williams could finish RB4, and I don't think that's in Melvin Gordon's day. Like, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Javonte Williams finished, somewhere like RB 40 something. You know what I mean?
But on the flip side, I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't either, though. And if it was like flip, because Javonte sat that last game. So was that because he had that starting spot, or was it just because they wanted to give Gordon more run? Like, we don't know. That's what we gotta
play detective.
wait to see with that. Exactly.
On to the wide receivers. Jerry Judy finished last year as a number 45 wide receiver with 110 targets, 856 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7th in total air yards. Only 59% of his targets were catchable. That's the 3rd most in the NFL, so that's pretty gross. He will see James Bradbury, the 7th highest graded cornerback according to PFF last year. He's actually tied with Jalen Ramsey. So I got temporary expectations when it comes to Jerry Judy, man. I actually got him as my wide receiver 39 this week. I know the hype is big on Jerry Judy, but me personally, I want to temper my expectations on him. I know Carlos probably you want to talk about Jerry Judy. I know you like Jerry Judy.
Yeah, he does see a tough matchup on the outside, but he did play a third of his snaps in the slot last year, so you're looking for him to get most of his reduction there, and where he'll see Darnay Holmes, who was graded out as a 49 and allowed a 79% catch rate. So yeah, I'm comfortable with him.
Somebody else wanted to speak.
Yeah.
She went crazy. I don't know. Like I said, I'm off Jerry Judy this week. Cortland Sutton, though, I like Cortland. I do not like. I don't like Cortland Sutton either this week. First game back from injury in 2019, he did go off. He was wide receiver 20, over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns. He did score a touchdown also in his preseason debut. But he'll see a lot of Adoree Jackson, or if Carlos mentioned, or James Bradbury if Jerry Judy is playing in the slot. But either way, the matchup is going to be a little bit rough for him on the outside there. Adoree Jackson was a former first-round pick from the Tennessee Titans, so I still think he has first-round potential. He was the number 21 cornerback in 2019, number 21 coverage corner according to PFF in 2019. And the only reason he didn't play last year, he had a lot of injuries and some other probably background stuff with the Titans. I don't know, it was weird. But he's a first-round pick, and they just let him go. So the Giants got a steal there. So I got temporary expectations with Cortland, but I do got Cortland ranked higher than Jerry Judy. So if I was going to start one of the two, it'd be Sutton.
Yeah, definitely Judy for me, but
KJ Hamler, I don't like KJ Hamler this week. Noah Fant finished as a tight end 15 last year. He only had 40 catches, 562 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He always seemed to be playing hurt for some reason. Like he always seemed to but he always plays through it. It's weird. But he does see a lot of targets, especially when it comes to tight ends, averaging around 6 last year. The Giants give up about 5 receptions a game to tight ends last year. So matched up against Ragland, the linebacker who gave up 75% catch rate. I think Noah Fant is a safe start this week. That's all I got. Yeah, so Cortland Sutton and Noah Fant is out on that side of the ball for me, and Melvin Gordon.
Cortland Sutton or Kenny G?
Cortland Sutton.
I think I would go Sutton over him also. I'm trying to sit Kenny G wherever I can, man. I'm not confident at all this first week, but
I don't like Kenny G at all this week either, especially with Danny Dimes throwing the ball, because Danny Dimes is just not good. He's pretty gross.
You got Danny Dimes. You got him practically having no offseason with a new team, and then we don't know how healthy he is. So that's 3 strikes. You're out.
And the low over-under, so
4 strikes. You can get out of here.
And I can see Darius Slayton getting the touchdowns, even though I don't feel comfortable starting him, but just because they already have the rapport. So, Javar, you had anything to say? I know you muted yourself.
Nah, y'all did a good job. I'm proud of y'all.
All right, on to the next game. We got a 3.5-point favorite, Green Bay at the Saints. Guess who game this is?
Shit, man, what a coincidence.
49.5 point over under. Jameis Winston getting his first start as the Saint, but he goes up against a pretty tough Packer defense. Do you feel comfortable starting him this week, Los?
Not in a 1 QB league. I think he's safe in a 2 QB league. It's a high over under, so I think I would feel pretty good about him as your second quarterback. Yeah, so that's how I feel about him. Of course, you're starting the running back Kamara. Don't know about Tony Jones. I know that second running back kind of gets that, that bump in that offense because Kamara they really don't force feed him the ball between the tackles. He does get his usual touches, but we'll see with Tony Jones. Callaway though, that one I'm kind of having some thoughts about, bro. I know he's going to be the number one guy out there. So, I mean, he should see the volume, and it is a high over/under, but I guess it just depends on who you're starting him over. I know he'll see a lot of Kevin King. I know the other guy, I forgot his name. His name is not coming to me. The other cornerback they got out there.
Who?
Green Bay's other cornerback.
Jay Alexander.
Yeah, so he'll see a mixture of Jair,
the best cornerback in the league.
Yeah, so he'll want to see most of his production from Kevin King. He was only graded out as a 56 and allowed a nice catch rate of 69%. See what I did there? And so maybe as like a flex play, I'm cool with, but I probably would try to look for other options. As far as tight ends go, Troutman he's not on the final injury report, so it looks like he will play, but I'm not really feeling him this week. Somebody I do want to keep my eye on, bro, maybe like a DFS play is Juwan Johnson. This is a guy that was converted from a wide receiver to a tight end. He was lined
Who's
up
that Pokemon?
Yeah, he was lined up in the slot on 50% of his snaps during the preseason, 11th among tight ends in yards per route run, and third in ADOT. So he does have that high ceiling. And if Troutman is still kind of banged up, then he could see something, but more of like a DFS play for Juwan Johnson. So it's pretty narrow there, man. You're starting Kamara, everybody else, maybe not look for other
I could see Kamara having a fucking 6 touchdown game or something.
Exactly. On the other side, of course, you're starting Davante Adams, you're starting Aaron Rodgers and Aaron Jones. Robert Tonyan. So they allowed Saints allowed the 10th most points to the tight end position last year. He is a regression candidate because he saw a lot of touchdowns he didn't have a lot.
He had a couple of 3 touchdown games.
I thought I had that in here. Yeah, so but he is a regression candidate, but I think that should be offset by the additional volume, which I believe he deserves. He was 10th in yards per route run among tight ends last year, caught 90% of his targets, and he does line up on 70% of his snaps out wide, which was the 8th most among tight ends. So I think he's gonna be pretty much operating as their wide receiver too.
What up?
I like the matchup in this game, so I'm fine starting him. And Lazard, I think I want to wait and see with him. He started off hot last year, then he got injured, and he never really looked the same. He'll see a lot of the rookie Paulson Adebo, I think his last name is. Sorry if I'm messing it up, but I'm concerned he won't see the volume this week to be fantasy relevant. And Green Bay had the 10th fewest percent of pass plays in games where they were favored last year. So I'm not looking to start Adams, Lazard, and neither MVS. So pretty narrow game here, man. I know it's an exciting game, but it's pretty narrow who you would want to start and sit here.
Alvin Kamara.
Exactly.
Got a question for you, Carlos.
Gaskin or Tyson Williams? Ooh, I think I would go Tyson Williams right there. He's going to get the volume. Latavius Murray might play, but he just got there, so I don't see him having like a legit role. So I think Tyson Williams is definitely the guy this week.
Who they play again?
Matchup than Gaskin.
The
Raiders.
They play the Raiders.
So matchup. Favorites in that game compared to Gaskin in a tough matchup where they're underdogs. So I think I feel more comfortable going Tyson.
You feel the same, Gabe?
Yeah, I like Tyson. I'll get to him in my breakdown of that game.
I got one more for you. You can start off with that one, Gabe.
T. Higgins or Tyson Williams. Oh shit! See, this is one of the times where, I was saying I always start running backs in the flex, but
yeah, that's hard. I'd probably go T. Higgins.
I'll probably go T. Higgins. The upside is there. I feel like the upside is there. I don't know. I feel like you can't go wrong.
It's according to what you need. If you need some upside, I go T.
I think they both have safe floors. I think they both get you around the same amount of points. Actually, probably something like that. Like I don't think it'll be like too far off.
Can't go wrong.
And our rankings do reflect that T. Higgins is higher in the flex rankings.
So. On to the next game. We got the Bears at the Rams, 9-point favorites, over under 46.5 points. Andy Dalton, for some reason, is getting the start. Andy Dalton is so gross. Like, I don't even think he's gross.
You have 2 days, Nagy, to come to your senses, bro.
I don't even think it's gross. I just think it's gross that Justin Fields is on the bench. That's the gross part about it. It's really weird.
I think it's gross.
He's a stubborn guy.
We're still talking about Andy Dalton. He's still playing. Okay, I think he's a good backup quarterback. I would love him to be my backup quarterback on my team. You know what I'm saying? But as far as start, I'm not getting hyped over Andy Dalton as start. And as far as fantasy, Andy Dalton is a never start. Just go off last year, he averaged 15 points on the Cowboys' flooded offense with all that talent. So I definitely don't trust Andy Dalton in Chicago, especially against a top defense in the Rams. So he's a sit, always a sit. David Montgomery is a must start each week. He's the only running back on the team at the moment, but temper expectations at the Rams have allowed around 4 yards per rush last year. And against the Rams, he had 19 touches and 69 yards last year. Wide receivers, this is a tough matchup for this group. Robinson has great numbers. Robinson doesn't have great numbers against the Bears, but you have to start him.
He plays for the Bears.
Robinson. Yes. All right. Sorry. Robinson has had great numbers for the Bears, but he hasn't put up great numbers against the Rams. In the last games against the Rams, this is his stat line: 5 for 42, 0 touchdowns; 4 for 15, 0 touchdowns; 4 for 70, and 0 touchdowns. Both Darius Williams, and Jalen Ramsey were top 8 in coverage rating last year. Sit Mooney for this game as well. Cole Kmet has been talked about a lot this season. He averaged around 9 yards per catch. Therefore, he would need volume to be fantasy relevant. The Rams have allowed 1.5 fantasy points per touch to tight ends last year. Sit Kmet as well. Y'all got anything to add on that matchup?
I'm trying to sit anybody on that Bears team that I can, to be honest with you. You know how you were saying you were fading, was it Deandre Swift?
Yeah, you can.
So I'm that's how I feel about Monty, just because that Rams defense is so good, bro. Like when I think about it, they have like 299 players.
Yeah,
that's true.
They're gonna try to run just to try to keep money.
You don't know that because Matt Nagy don't even know to start the best quarterback.
Better try to run.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do play action.
You better run.
They're not gonna let Andy Dalton just sit back there and pass. So they're gonna try to run and set up some play action or something.
But you mentioned it. But you mentioned it, like you said, like last year we saw, I'm pretty sure they came into the game with the mindset of we're gonna try to run the ball too, and they only got 69 yards. So I'm just saying, as far as fantasy wise, you should temper your expectations, huh? It is nice.
That's nice.
They just gonna let Dalton go out here against the hard teams these first couple of games, and then we'll bring the rookie in. I think like the 5th, 4th game, they got an easy matchup or something like that. So we'll see. Moving on to the other side of the ball, Matthew Stafford has found a new home after all those years in Detroit. The Bears have allowed around 7 yards per pass attempt on 60% completion rate to quarterbacks last year. Where you drafted Matt Stafford, you most likely got to start him. So not to get into that, Daryl Henderson is a must start for the first couple of weeks until Sony catches up. Even with Sony getting a couple touches, Henderson will be startable. The Bears have allowed 13 points per game to running backs and around 4 yards per carry. The last time they played, the Rams ran the ball 25 times for 121 yards and 1 touchdown. Henderson is a bona fide running back 2 this week, whereas Sony is more of a sit, just to wait and see. Moving on to the wide receivers, both of those guys are wide receiver 2s this week, with Kupp having a little better matchup than Woods. the Bears' best cornerback, Jalen Johnson, doesn't cover slot that much, and that's where Cup plays. And there's but don't count Woods out. Last year, Woods played 48% of his snaps in the slot as well. So you can start both of these guys. They got to upgrade in quarterback. They're going to have to throw, and it's McVay offense. So you start both of these guys with no problem. On to Tyler Higbee. The Bears allowed a catch rate of around 70% to tight ends last year, around 7 yards per target, making Higbee a decent streamer option. Stafford loves tight end too, so I don't mind you starting Higbee this week. Anything in that?
I only have one thing. I think the Bears' defense, rush defense, that is, was so bad last year because they was missing a lot of key components, especially defensive tackle Akeem Hicks. He's one of the best defensive tackles in the league. So he's now back. So that's also something to monitor. So I'm not as high on Daryl Henderson. I actually moved him like to running back 3 this week. He's like 25, like right on the cusp. That's
I got him down as like a middling. No, I actually I moved him down also. So he's a high end RB3. So I could see running back 2 numbers just because Sony's not up to speed yet, and they were pretty run heavy even in the games where they came in as faves. They're pretty heavy faves in this game, so he should get enough run to not sink you.
Yeah, that's all I've.
Love Higbee this week too.
Love Higbee. Is it?
Yeah, that's all I got. Yep.
All right, I think we finally here. I guess they left me this one. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party. Yeah. The Ravens have the Monday night football game against the Raiders, 4-point favorite. The Ravens are with an over under 50 points. Of course, we know we're going to start Lamar Jackson. Tyson Williams is probably who everybody wants to hear us talk about. The Raiders gave up 125 yards on the ground last year per game, allowing the 4th most points to the running back position. I don't know the Tyson Williams measurables if you haven't seen him play or just seen him, period. He's 6 foot, 220 pounds compared to Gus Edwards, who's 6'1", 231 pounds. So they're pretty much the same size. During the preseason, he finished 2nd in breakaway percentage, and 4th in elusive ratings with compared to running backs with 24 or more carries. So that's pretty much running backs that started during the preseason, or like the back end running backs. So he was one of the best running backs out there when he was on the field. 24 carries for 130 yards, and he even was a pass catcher out of the backfield with 8 catches. I think he had like 11 targets during the preseason during his limited amount of touches. So I do think he's one of the better starts. We already know that Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are one of the best running defenses in the league, and I feel like the Ravens are a perfect team to see if Tyson Williams can do it against, because they just suck at stopping the run. They picked up a couple pieces. They picked up KJ Wright, the linebacker, but I mean, I don't think he's going to stop the rushing offense of the Baltimore Ravens. So I do think you can start Tyson Williams with confidence this week. Yeah, man, don't overthink it as far as Tyson Williams.
Moving forward, though, because we didn't talk about it in our news, I definitely think he gets the workload this week, and I think it's like a tryout to see like who, like, is he going to have the keys to the backfield and Latavius be the 1B, or is he going to be like a true competition after week 1? So how do y'all feel about that?
Yeah, definitely something to watch, especially, if you got Tyson Williams, you definitely need to be glued just seeing what type of player you got. So after the game, you know if you want to move him and what to move him for. So definitely.
Another thing about that is, even if he does, like I do think Latavius Murray is going to get some touches next week or going forward into whoever the other running back is going to be. We already knew there was going to be a running back by committee type situation back there. So I still think Tyson Williams won't fall to like not in the rotation. I feel like he'll either be the J.K. Dobbins of the rotation, or he'll be the Gus Edwards. Either way, I mean, we just thought he was going to be the J.K. Dobbins. We was all cool with him being the Gus Edwards like 2 days ago, you know what I mean? So
not as cool with it as not as cool 1B though. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, everybody got a lot cooler, I'm sorry about that, but I mean,
if I had to pick, I mean, I feel like Latavius Murray will be the guy, but like I said, this he has the chance to prove it to the coaches that he's the guy to be back there. But we know that Latavius has the experience, and he's coming off his best year last year, like in terms of yards per carry and all that shit. So, yeah, I definitely think Latavius Murray is a must own also. So, yeah, we'll see how that shakes out.
Bro, this is crazy, bro, the turn events of this backfield. Just how it's like, oh, yeah, J.K. Dobbins going to be – I'm here yelling, he going to be breakout. Then it's like, oh, now we riding the Gus the bus. And just that quick, flat tires. Man, it's crazy, bro. Just
We went from debating J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards to freaking Tyson Williams and Latavius Murray, bro. Like, fantasy football is so awesome, bro. I love
this is crazy. Players we thought we would have never been – players we thought we would never been, here discussing about. That's crazy.
Facts.
On to the wide receivers. Marquis Hollywood Brown back at practice this week. She should be starting. Had a slow start last week, but he did post decent numbers the last 6 weeks. Double-digit fantasy points each of those weeks. 6 touchdowns through those 6 weeks. He will be going against Casey Howard, however, though, who only gave up a 48% catch rate last year. Lamar Jackson already only throws the ball like 23 to 25 times a game. So I think the volume is always something to be scary about, but I do think I don't think he's going to be the top target leader as people think. I know people going to probably think I'm crazy, but I think Sammy Watkins will actually lead, as long as he's healthy, will lead the team in targets. They said he's been having a great camp out there and he hasn't been hurt yet. So I think that's the only thing that stops Sammy Watkins.
Like lead the team or lead the wide receiver group?
Lead the wide receivers.
Oh, okay.
Sammy Watkins spent a lot of his year hurt last year, only played 10 games. And I already mentioned about the Mahomes not having a wide receiver too. So I don't think that was already always on Sammy Watkins as much as people put it on him. I think that could have been a lot to do with just Kansas City doesn't want a wide receiver too, bro. And they done showed you that like since 2017, they haven't had one with 70 targets. And that's not even a lot of targets for wide receiver two.
They just need a placeholder.
Exactly. They just need somebody to run out there on the field. Hey, bro, do something like this. DeMarcus Robinson, whatever your name is. We might throw you the ball a couple of times. We might not. You know what I'm saying? Just be happy to be here, bro. We're going to win some Super Bowls.
That should be dope as hell if we can, like, do that shit. Like, just have, like, sign-ups. Like, who wants to be the wide receiver 2 for the Chiefs this week?
Yeah, man,
hey, come on down. Like,
so I do think...
I'd be like guys in that 40 video. The 40 that everybody was pulling hamstrings and I ain't going that.
I do think so I don't think Sammy Watkins is a start this week, but I do think you should wait and see. But I do think he will be playable as the year goes forward. Marcus I forgot his name that quick. Mark Andrews, of course, he's gonna be the starter. He's gonna start. He actually has one of the better matchups this week. Tylen Wallace is somebody I know that people want to talk about. I think he's a wait and see. It's just, even though Rashad Bateman is out, I do think Tylen Wallace, I can't say his name. Tylen Wallace was one of the steals of the draft, and I do think he'll have a very productive year. And I think a lot of people are sleeping on him. But I want to wait and see, especially week 1. Like I said, don't get crazy. On the other side of the ball, I want to refute my Sammy Watkins. I didn't let y'all get to say nothing. But I said sit him this week, so it don't matter.
If any week, this might be the week, bro, because he seems like he has a history of going off that week 1. It's like a Deshaun Jackson type where it just seems like they go off week 1 and
I could easily see him. I could easily see him getting like a touchdown on a big pass or something. I just can't feel comfortable with you rolling out the break. He's chasing points or something like that for sure.
Yeah, I like it for week 1, but not a weekly thing.
On the other side of the ball, we got Derek Carr, the starter, going against the Ravens, who allowed only 221 yards through the air last year, 6th fewest in the NFL, and gave up the 18 points to the quarterback position in the game. Finished 13th last year, tied for 8th in the adjusted completion rate, a little bit over 4,100 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. So he never really hurts you, bro. He only had like really 3 dud games, but when he dud it was like a dud. I think he had like negative points. That was really crazy.
The Falcons of all people, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. It was crazy to
Gabe
see.
was like, I told y'all we had a 5 defense, bro.
But I started him that week for somewhere. I started him that week, and he literally got me negative points. It's really, oh man. Anyway, bro. But I think he has a safe floor, but I wouldn't feel comfortable starting him in one QB leagues for sure against the Ravens. But in 2 QB leagues, I think you could do worse. Derek Carr or Carson Wentz.
That might go. Yep. Carr.
I think regardless, you're gonna have to like throw the ball. Like with the amount of pressure that defense is going to produce, I think the ball's going to be in the air. The backfield situations, the Ravens gave up an average of 15 points to the running backs position last year. They did give up 5 receptions per game out of the backfield. So that's a lot of receptions. So I think Drake could be a sneaky play this week. Touchdowns is something that they don't give up. They tied for a loss in average of rush. I don't know what just happened. They tied for the least average rushing touchdowns a game. So they don't really give. I think it was like 0.4 touchdowns a game, something like that. So temper your expectations on Josh Jacobs in the backfield, because we know he doesn't catch the ball out of the backfield because they don't want to do that for him. And they went and got Ken Drake. So I feel like, I don't even know. I wouldn't feel comfortable starting Ken Drake unless I absolutely had to. But I know where you drafted Josh Jacobs at. You had to roll him out there, but I definitely moved him down in my rankings this week. How you feel about that?
Agreed. He's it's just not so often you see a first round running back dependent on game flow. But that's how he's been used, bro. So last year he averaged 19.6 half PPR points in games where they won. And he averaged almost over 8 points less at 11.3 in the games that they lost. So I don't think that they're. I mean, it's only like a 4-point over or line or whatever. They're only 4-point underdog, so it's possible that they keep it close. But if it does get out of hand, then you know that Josh Jacobs is just going to be game scripted out. So definitely want to temper expectations with him.
Everything they didn't bring Ken Drake in there for no reason.
Jesus.
The wide receivers, man, only one wide receiver I really feel comfortable starting. I know Henry Ruggs and more so Brandon Edwards is the talk of the town. And I do think Edwards will have a good year, but I want to wait and see for him. I just feel like you could do better, especially week 1. He's probably on a lot of people's waiver wires anyway.
Yeah, what you want to see with Edwards is volume. I'm not expecting him to have a big game, but if he can be like the leading target, just get enough volume, bro, then you might have something.
Whatever the distribution is. Henry Ruggs, I feel like maybe if you're chasing points, it's more like a Miko Harmon type situation, but I've never been a big Henry Ruggs fan myself. But Hunter Renfrow, especially with Marlon Humphrey being out at the slot corner, that's Derek Carr's 3rd highest passing option last year. Darius Watson, the rookie, will be taking over for Marlon Humphrey. With the high over under, I see him getting a good amount of target. You spoke on volume. I see him getting a good amount of that volume, and of course he's going to start the Waller man. Travis Kelce only scored 1 touchdown in 3 regular season matchups against them in the last 3 years, but he did see 8 targets a game during those 3 years. So volume is key against the
Waller.
Ravens. No, Kelce. I know I was just making a comparison.
Oh, okay.
As far as not like number 1 tight ends facing the Ravens, they don't give up a lot of touchdowns, but if you get in the volume, like Travis Kelce's getting like 8 targets a game. Darren Waller, I see him getting 8 targets, so you should be fine starting Darren Waller there.
Wait, so Marlon Humphrey's out?
Marcus Peters. That's
Peter. So they're missing 2 quarterbacks?
No. Marcus Peters, but Marcus Peters covers slot. That's what I meant to say.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's the last game.
That'll do it.
Week 1, man. Now the anxiety begins because I'm down in a lot of leagues, and so I got to come back. So Sunday is here. Whenever you listen to this, I feel like
the fantasy gods are trying to help me redeem myself, bro, because I'm playing Antonio. I mean, if you remember last year, he beat me in marathon when I sat Jalen Hurts over Russell Wilson. I feel like, and I'm down big. I started Evans against Cooper. So it's like they're telling me, like, bro, start Jalen Hurts. This is your chance to
who's your option?
Aaron Rodgers and freaking Russell Wilson. It's just like, bro, I'm sitting one of them. Jalen Hurts will be in my lineup this week, bro. I'm not.
Man,
if I lose, I'm already down by freaking 30 points, bro. Like
I don't know against them Falcons. You know how it's what
exactly,
the Falcons
bro.
gonna do.
They're gonna suck against quarterbacks.
If you're looking for our rankings, man, make sure you go to www.ffInsession session. Oh shit! Well, I spelled session out, but .com.
FFNsession.com.
Well, I spell it like that. FFNsession.com. Check us out on any social media, wherever you see social media at. Yeah, man. Week 1 is here. Sunday will be on probably some social media platform, if we're not somewhere bugging out. So yeah, make sure you hit us up if you want some start sit advice or whatever may have you. Good luck week 1 to everybody. I'm not playing. Am I playing y'all? Am I playing you anywhere? I don't even look at names, bro. It'd be so weird, bro. I just be like, there's so many leagues, bro. I just be like, line up.
Only people I look for is y'all motherfuckers, Antonio, and my brother. Like those the guys. Like I'm marking those games on my calendar.
But other than that, though, man, we'll see y'all next week. Hopefully, we'll see some smiley faces in here. Hopefully, we won't be too bad. We'll try to keep a tally of like our games because we're in so many leagues. So we'll see who has the best overall record by the end of the year between the three of us. It'll probably be me. We out. Peace.